Imagine someone looking you directly in the eye, and with just a few words, planting a seed in your mind, a seed that grows, twists, and slowly begins to make you doubt yourself, your decisions, even your reality. Here's the frightening reality. It doesn't take 100 words. It doesn't take an hour-long tirade. In dark psychology, sometimes only 5 simple words are enough to break someone's mind. 5 words that pierce your logic, shoot at your feelings, and make you give up your power without even being aware of it. We'd rather think we're in power, that we can't be manipulated, that our head belongs to us. Language has existed since the start of human existence. Wars have been started with words. Men have been adored, have been broken through words said at the right time. And here in this video, we're discovering the 5 most poisonous words of dark psychology, words master manipulators, con artists, and master persuaders employ to control people. They might seem innocuous on the surface. You've probably heard them today, even spoken them yourself unwittingly. But when deployed against you with intent, they will slice deeper than a knife. By the end of this video, you will have a good sense of what those words are, how they work, and how to defend yourself when someone tries to use them on you. But be warned, once you understand this, you will start to see manipulation everywhere: communication, relationships, even the media. The world might never look the same again. Okay, let's get underway. And remember this: the scariest traps in dark psychology always lie in plain sight. The first deadly word is this, because innocent looking, right? We all use it all the time. But in the manipulator's hands, because is one of the smoothest knives in the whole dark psychology toolkit. Why? Because the human mind requires explanations. We hunger for reasons. We hunger for logic, even bad logic, even illogical logic. The moment we hear the word because, we suspend our critical faculties and lean forward, ready to accept what comes next. Let me tell you about an experiment. In the 1970s, psychologist Ellen Langer conducted a fascinating experiment. People were standing in line waiting to use a photocopy machine. Researchers made 3 different requests. Excuse me, may I use the Xerox machine? Excuse me, may I use the Xerox machine, because I'm in a hurry? Excuse me, may I use the Xerox machine, because I need to make copies? Here's the astounding discovery. People followed request number 3 and request number 2 almost to the same extent, even though the third reason made absolutely no sense. Of course, you have to make copies at a copier. What mattered wasn't the reason itself. It was whether or not the word because was included. Now think about how this functions in the everyday manipulation of others. A boss instructs an employee, "You have to work late because the company needs it." A partner would respond, "You should forgive me, as love calls for sacrifice." A scammer would reply, "You should believe me, as I know what is in your best interest." See the trap? Because creates the illusion of justification. It authorizes demands even though the underlying reason is completely hollow. This is why politicians, salesmen, cultists, and confidence artists use this word every day. They know that our brains are conditioned to accept reasons on faith, but not necessarily examine their legitimacy. This is the frightening aspect. Once you are aware of the manner in which because used, you will start hearing it everywhere. In the news, in advertisements, in relationships. So, how do you shield yourself? Simple. The next time someone says because, stop. Hear only the reason, not test it. Ask yourself, does this reason actually work? Or is it just a verbal smoke screen? Because the moment you start questioning because, the weapon is disarmed.
Think of someone looking you straight in the eye, and with just words, they plant a seed in your mind. A seed that germinates, twists, and slowly makes you question yourself, your decisions, even your world. Now, here's the terrifying truth. It doesn't take 100 words. It doesn't take an hour-long address. In dark psychology, it may only take 5 seemingly innocent words to destroy someone's mind. 5 words that fly right over your head, destroy your feelings, and cause you to relinquish your power without even knowing it. We would rather think that we're rugged, that we can't be swayed, that our brain is our own. But words are the most ancient weapon in the history of humankind. Wars have been provoked with words. Men and women have been ruined or fallen in love because of words uttered at the correct time. And today, in this video, we're examining the 5 most damaging words in dark psychology. The words that master manipulators, con artists, and persuaders use to influence individuals. They seem innocuous at first glance. It's likely you've heard them today, perhaps even used them yourself unwittingly. But aimed at you with ill intent, they can cut deeper than any knife. By the time you finish watching this video, you'll know exactly what those words are, how to use them, and how to defend yourself when someone tries to use them against you. But beware, once you learn this, you will start to recognize manipulation in every way: conversation, relationship, even media. The world may never quite look the same again, so here we go. And remember this, in dark psychology, the scariest traps are always the ones that lie in plain sight. The first dangerous word is this, because sounds harmless, doesn't it? We use it all the time. But in the wrong hands, because is one of the most lethal tools in the entire dark psychology arsenal. Why? Because the human brain craves explanations. We crave meaning. We crave reason even when that reason is dubious, even when it doesn't add up. The instant we hear the phrase because, our defenses drop, and we lean forward to ingest what's about to follow. Let me tell you an experiment. Psychologist Ellen Langer conducted an amazing study in the 1970s. People were in line to use a photocopying machine. Researchers tried 3 different requests. Excuse me, may I use the Xerox machine? Excuse me, may I use the Xerox machine? Because I'm in a hurry. Excuse me, may I use the Xerox machine? Because I need to make copies. Here is the surprising result. People complied with request number 3 and request number 2 almost equally, even though the third reason was utter bunk. Of course you have to make copies at a copy machine. It wasn't what the reason said. It was that the word because was included. Now look at how this operates in everyday manipulation. A manager orders an employee, you have to work late, because the company needs you. A lover says, you owe me an apology, because love is sacrifice. A cheat says, you owe me trust, because I know best for you. Do you see the trap? Because creates the appearance of justification. It legitimates demands even if the reasoning on which they're based is all hollow. That is why politicians, salesmen, cult leaders, and scammers depend on this word repeatedly. They understand that our brains are designed to purchase reasons without continually questioning their authenticity. Here's the frightening aspect. Once you notice how because is employed, you'll start to hear it everywhere, on the news, in advertisements, in relationships. So how do you defend yourself? Simple. The next time you hear someone say because is stop, don't just listen to the excuse, challenge it. Ask yourself, does this excuse really hold water, or is it a verbal smoke screen? Because once you start challenging because, the weapon is disarmed.
Do you feel the weight never is not just a term when applied? It tries to place bars on your future within someone else's judgment. Psychologically, never thrives on fear. Fear of abandonment. Fear of failure. Fear that perhaps, somewhere inside, they're right. And once planted, that seed can germinate into self-doubt that torments you for a decade. But this is the truth manipulators don't want you to believe. Never is a falsehood. Human beings do not stay still. We evolve, we develop, we break patterns daily. History is full of people who were informed that they'd never succeed until they did. The moment you are told never, you should be ringing alarm bells in your mind, because never is rarely about your limitations, it's about their desperation to manipulate you. So, how do you defend yourself? You reject permanence. You remind yourself, never is not real. Change is always possible. Growth is always possible. And no one has the right to define my future with a single word. And once you reclaim the truth, the word never becomes powerless. And now you know them. The 5 most deadly words in dark psychology, because should everyone just never, words that seem harmless, but when spoken intentionally, slice right through into your head. Words that con artists, manipulators, and abusers use every day to control the people around them. But here is the real danger. These words don't just exist in other people's mouths. Sometimes the most toxic manipulator isn't out there, it's inside your own self-talk. Think of this. How many times have you thought, I ought to be doing better? Everyone's ahead of me. It's just another excuse. I'll never succeed. Dark psychology is not simply about guarding against others. It's also learning to recognize the trap that we set for ourselves. And in the next video, we are going to uncover exactly that. The secret ways your own mind tricks you and how to break free. So if you're ready to go deeper, subscribe, stay alert, and never forget, the sharpest weapons in the world aren't made of steel. They're made of words.